You are not a prisoner of what happened before. You are only held back by the meaning you continue to give to it. The story you repeat about your past becomes the foundation of your present reality. Change the story within your imagination, and you begin to change the direction of your life. The past is not as permanent as you believe, because the version of it you carry exists only through your current awareness. Right now, you are holding memories of conversations, experiences, failures, victories, heartbreaks, and moments that you believe shaped who you are. But understand this: the past does not exist somewhere outside of you. It is not sitting in some invisible place controlling your present. It exists only through your consciousness, through the memories, emotions, and images you continue to replay in your mind. Every time you remember something, you are not traveling back in time. You are recreating that experience in the present moment. And if that memory is being created through your imagination right now, then it can also be transformed. Many people believe their past is a finished story, a permanent record that cannot be changed. They think their mistakes, failures, rejection, and painful moments have become a part of their identity forever. But the truth is, the past only has power because you continue to give it life through your thoughts. Where is yesterday right now? Where is the embarrassment you experienced years ago? Where is the moment that still defines your confidence and self-worth? It is no longer happening. It exists only as a memory appearing in your mind. And because imagination is involved, that memory is not as fixed as you think. You already use your imagination to create dreams, goals, and visions of the future. But the same power can be used to transform the memories that keep you connected to fear, shame, regret, and limitation. Your memories are not just thoughts, they create emotional states. When you constantly remember rejection, you begin living as someone who expects to be rejected. When you constantly remember failure, you continue carrying the identity of someone who expects defeat. The event is no longer controlling you. The meaning you attach to it is. This is the power of revision. Revision does not mean pretending life never happened or denying reality. It means understanding that the emotional version of the past you carry can be changed. Imagine a painful moment from your life, one that still creates sadness, anger, or insecurity. Enter that scene again in your imagination, but allow it to unfold differently. Instead of rejection, imagine acceptance. Instead of failure, imagine success. Instead of feeling powerless, imagine yourself confident, respected, and fulfilled. A man once carried years of shame from a business failure that had happened long ago. The company collapsed, he lost everything, and the humiliation stayed with him. Even years later, whenever he thought about starting again, he felt like the same person who had failed. The event was over, but he was still reliving it internally. He began practicing revision every night before sleep. He returned to that memory, but this time he imagined success, celebration, and confidence. Slowly the shame faded, the fear weakened, and the identity of failure disappeared. Your past does not have to be the place where your power ends. It can become the place where your transformation begins. You are not defined by what happened. You are defined by the state you choose to live in now. Change the inner story, and you change the person who creates your future. The transformation did not happen because the physical past was rewritten. It happened because his relationship with that past changed. The memory he carried was no longer one of failure. His imagination created a new inner state, the state of someone who succeeds. And from that new identity, he began creating different results in his life. This is what many people misunderstand about revision. You are not changing some fixed timeline or erasing what physically happened. You are changing what that event means to you now. The past exists only through your present awareness, and your present imagination creates your current state. When you change the memory, you change the state you live from. You do not create your future from yesterday. You create it from who you are being right now. Most people only imagine forward. They picture success, wealth, love, and happiness they want to experience someday. But they forget that the memories they replay from the past are also creating their present identity. You can imagine abundance for the future, but if you constantly remember lack, your mind remains connected to scarcity. You can imagine success ahead, but if you keep returning to old failures, you continue living from that same defeated state. Revision removes this inner conflict and allows your past, present, and future to move in the same direction. The process is simple. First, choose a memory that still creates pain, fear, regret, or limitation. Recognize that this memory only exists in your awareness right now. The event has passed. What remains is the image you continue to hold. Then close your eyes and replay that moment differently. If you experienced rejection, imagine being accepted. If you experienced failure, imagine achieving success. If you felt embarrassed, imagine feeling respected and valued. Create the scene so clearly that it feels like a natural memory. Repeat this practice until the new version becomes stronger than the old one. The original memory feels real because you have repeated it for years. A revised memory becomes powerful through the same principles. And why? Since repetition and feeling. As your inner story changes, your emotional state changes. You become lighter, more confident, and more aligned with the person you desire to be. You are not controlled by your past. You are influenced by the meaning you continue to give it. What happened before does not have the power to define you unless you keep carrying it into the present. Your history exists through your consciousness, and consciousness can change. You are not trapped by yesterday. You are not limited by old experiences. The moment you change the story you hold within, you begin creating a different version of yourself. And from that new self, a new reality begins to unfold. Your mind is already changing your past without you noticing. The same memory can feel painful when you are hurt, but years later, from a healed place, you may see it with understanding and peace. Your present state constantly reshapes how you view the past. The question is not whether your memories can change, and they already do. The question is, will you change them consciously or allow old emotions to control the story? That rejection you still carry can become a lesson of acceptance. That failure can become a memory of growth. That painful chapter can become a story of strength. You are not denying what happened, you are changing the emotional state attached to it. Because the past only lives through your awareness now, and your imagination has the power to redirect it. Make revision a daily habit. Before sleep, look back at your day. Any moment that made you feel small, hurt, or disappointed, replay it differently. Imagine the conversation going better. Imagine yourself feeling confident, respected, and at peace. You are not changing the event, you are changing what you carry from it. Over time, you stop bringing old versions of yourself into the present. You release yesterday, last year, and old identities that no longer serve you. Your memory is not a prison. It is a story you can rewrite. Remember success instead of failure. Remember love instead of rejection. Remember strength instead of pain. When your inner world changes, your outer world begins to reflect that new state. The past is not controlling you. Your imagination is creating you. Revise the story, transform the state, and step into the version of yourself you choose to become. Your past is not as fixed as you have been taught to believe. Every day, without realizing it, you are already rewriting your memories. The way you see yesterday changes depending on who you are today. Think about a moment from your childhood. Maybe there was a time you felt ignored, rejected, misunderstood, or hurt. When you were younger, you may have looked at that experience through the eyes of a child who felt powerless. That memory carried pain because of the meaning you gave it at that time. But years later, after growing, healing, and understanding yourself more deeply, you may look back at the exact same moment and see something completely different. Maybe you realize someone was struggling themselves. Maybe you understand that it was never a reflection of your worth. Maybe you see that moment as something that shaped your strength rather than something that destroyed you. The event did not change. The memory changed because you changed. Your current state always influences the way you experience your past. A person living in anger will remember certain things differently from a person living in peace. A person filled with fear will interpret old experiences differently from someone who has developed confidence and self-love. This is happening naturally all the time. The question is not whether your past can change in your mind. It already does. The real question is whether you will allow your mind to automatically repeat old stories, or whether you will consciously choose the stories that support the person you want to become. Because every memory carries a feeling, and every feeling creates a state, and the state you repeatedly live in becomes the foundation of your reality. If you continue remembering yourself as the person who was rejected, you continue carrying the emotional identity of someone who is unwanted. If you continue remembering yourself as the person who failed, you continue carrying the identity of someone who expects disappointment. But what happens when you choose a new interpretation? What happens when you stop looking at your past as proof of your limitations and start seeing it as a foundation for your growth? That is where transformation begins. Revision is not about pretending your life was different. It is not about escaping reality or ignoring lessons from your experiences. It is about understanding that your relationship with the past exists only in this present moment. The past is not reaching into your life and controlling you. Your imagination of the past is, and because imagination can change, your inner experience can change too. Imagine carrying a heavy bag filled with old memories. Every rejection, every mistake, every embarrassing moment, every disappointment is placed inside that bag. You carry it everywhere. You carry it into relationships, opportunities, conversations, and decisions. Then one day, you realize something powerful. You were not carrying the past itself. You were carrying your current interpretation of the past. The weight was created by the meaning you continue to attach to those moments. And once you understand that, you become free. The memory that once created fear can become a memory of courage. The moment that once created shame can become a reminder of how much you have grown. The experience that once made you feel powerless can become proof that you survived. You are not changing what happened. You are changing who you become because of what happened. This is why revision is so powerful. It changes the emotional foundation from which you create your life. Most people spend their energy trying to create a better future while constantly feeding the emotional patterns of their past. They say they want abundance, but they keep remembering all the times they lacked. They say they want love, but they keep replaying moments when they were abandoned. They say they want confidence, but they keep identifying with every moment they felt insecure. They are trying to build a new life while emotionally living in an old one. This creates an inner conflict. One part of them wants something new, another part keeps repeating the identity of who they used to be. Revision closes that gap. It allows your inner world to become aligned with the person you want to experience yourself as. When you revise the past, you are not trying to force reality. You are changing the version of yourself that meets reality, because your life is always responding to the state you occupy. A person who feels worthy sees opportunities differently. A person who feels confident takes different actions. A person who feels loved approaches relationships differently. The external world often changes because the internal person has changed first. This is the deeper meaning behind changing your past. You are not creating a fake memory. You are creating a new relationship with yourself. And the relationship you have with yourself determines the reality you allow into your life. The greatest transformation begins when you stop seeing your memories as permanent facts and start understanding that they are experiences constantly shaped by your present consciousness. A memory is not a perfect recording stored inside your mind. It changes based on your emotions, beliefs, and the person you are becoming. This is why two people can live through the same situation but remember it completely differently. One person may see a painful ending, while another sees the beginning of their growth. The difference is not always what happened, it is the meaning they created from it. Your mind naturally looks for evidence that supports your identity. If you believe you are unlucky, you notice every disappointment. If you believe you are not enough, you remember every moment that made you feel rejected. But when you choose a new identity, those same memories begin to change. The rejection that once hurt you becomes the lesson that revealed your worth. The failure that embarrassed you becomes the experience that helped you grow. The loss that weakened you becomes proof of your strength. The memory remains, but its power over you disappears. This is the freedom of revision. You stop allowing old experiences to decide who you are today. Instead, you choose who you are now, and from that new identity, you begin to see your past differently. One of the most powerful times to practice this is before sleep, when your mind is calm and open. Before ending your day, look back at the moments that created emotions you do not want to carry forward. Maybe someone misunderstood you, a conversation went badly, you made a mistake, or you felt anxious and powerless. Instead of falling asleep with that emotional state, return to the moment in your imagination and replay it differently. Imagine yourself receiving kindness instead of rejection, confidence instead of fear, and success instead of failure. Feel the peace of the new experience. Feel the strength of the new version of yourself. The purpose is not to escape life, but to stop allowing temporary moments to define your identity. What you repeatedly accept internally becomes the state you live from, and the state you live from shapes your choices, emotions, actions, and experiences. Someone who constantly tells themselves, "I always fail, I am always rejected, or nothing works out for me," begins to see the world through that identity. Even when opportunities appear, they may not recognize them because their mind is still searching from a place of limitation. But when that same person changes their inner story and begins saying, "I learn from everything, I am worthy of love, and I create opportunities," their entire experience begins to shift. The outside world may look the same at first, but the person experiencing it has changed. Their decisions change, their confidence changes, their reactions change, and slowly their possibilities expand. This is why your inner conversation matters so deeply. The thoughts you repeat are not meaningless words passing through your mind. They are shaping the identity you return to every day. Your memories are part of that conversation. If your past keeps telling you that you are weak, create a new inner story that reminds you of your strength. If your memories tell you that you are unwanted, imagine yourself feeling accepted and valued. If your mind keeps replaying moments where you lost, create an inner experience where you recognize your ability to overcome. You are not ignoring reality. You are choosing the meaning you allow those experiences to have. Every person has painful chapters. Every person has moments they wish had happened differently. But some people remain trapped because they continue reliving those moments from the same emotional place where the pain began. Revision is the choice to leave those old emotional rooms behind. It is choosing a new perspective and giving yourself permission to become someone different. The person you are today does not have to be controlled by who you were yesterday. Your mistakes do not own your future. Your past experiences do not decide your destiny. Your pain does not have to become your identity. The moment you understand the power of your imagination, you realize you have always carried the ability to transform yourself. The past is not your enemy. It is simply a story waiting for a new meaning. Change the story. Change the emotional foundation of your life. Your future is not created by what happened before. Your future is created by the person you choose to become now. The past only has the power you continue to give it. The moments that once defined you do not have to control the person you become. You are not your mistakes, your rejection, your failures, or the pain you experienced. Those moments were chapters of your journey, not the final definition of who you are. When you revise your inner story, you are not escaping reality. You are releasing the emotional weight of old experiences that no longer belong to you. You are choosing to see yourself with strength instead of weakness, love instead of fear, and possibility instead of limitation. Your imagination is the place where your identity is created. Every new belief, every new assumption, and every new inner image moves you closer to the person you desire to become. Stop allowing old memories to create the same old reality. Give yourself permission to remember differently, feel differently, and live differently. The past is only a story you continue to carry. Choose a story that empowers you. Revise what no longer serves you. Step into the feeling of the person you want to be, and remember that the moment you transform within, your entire experience begins to change. You are not trapped by what was. You are creating who you become now. Revision begins when you understand that you are not carrying the past itself. You are carrying your interpretation of the past. Imagine walking through life with a heavy bag filled with every mistake, every disappointment, every embarrassing moment, and every painful memory. You carry this weight into every conversation, every opportunity, and every relationship. But one day you realize something important. The weight was not created by the event itself. The weight came from the meaning you continued giving that event. The moment you change the meaning, the emotional weight begins to disappear. The memory that once represented weakness can become proof of resilience. The experience that once created shame can become evidence of growth. The moment that once made you feel powerless can become proof that you survived something difficult and became stronger because of it. Revision does not mean denying reality. It does not mean pretending painful experiences never happened. It does not mean ignoring the lessons life has given you. Revision means changing your relationship with those experiences. It means recognizing that your past exists only through your present awareness. The past is not physically reaching into your life and controlling your emotions. Your current imagination of the past is creating that influence. When you change the inner story, you change the emotional foundation from which you create your future. A person who sees themselves as worthy behaves differently from someone who believes they are not enough. A person who feels loved approaches relationships differently from someone expecting rejection. A person who believes in their ability to succeed takes different actions than someone who expects failure. The external world often begins changing after the internal world changes first. The circumstances may not immediately transform, but the person experiencing those circumstances becomes different. Their choices become different. Their reactions become different. Their confidence becomes different because they are no longer operating from the same identity. One of the most powerful moments to practice revision is before sleep. When the mind becomes calm, it becomes easier to imagine new possibilities. Instead of ending the day by replaying disappointment, return to moments that created negative emotions and imagine them differently. If a conversation ended badly, imagine it ending with understanding. If you felt rejected, imagine yourself feeling accepted. If you experienced fear, imagine yourself responding with confidence. The purpose is not to escape reality. The purpose is to stop allowing temporary moments to define your permanent identity. A single experience should not have the authority to decide who you are for the rest of your life. The thoughts you repeat every day become the identity you strengthen. Your inner conversation shapes the way you see yourself and the world around you. If you constantly tell yourself that you always fail, your mind searches for evidence that supports failure. If you believe you're unwanted, you notice experiences that confirm rejection. The mind naturally looks for proof of the identity you hold. But when you choose a new identity, your perception begins changing. The same memories that once caused pain can begin revealing wisdom. The same challenges that once seemed unfair can become evidence of your ability to overcome difficulties. You are not changing the facts of your life. You are changing the role those facts play in your story. Everyone has painful chapters. Everyone has moments they wish had happened differently. Everyone has experiences they wish they could erase. But remaining emotionally connected to those moments keeps you living in a version of yourself that no longer exists. Revision is the decision to stop visiting the same emotional places that created your pain. It is the decision to create a new relationship with yourself. You are not required to remain the person you were during your hardest moments. You are allowed to grow beyond them. Your mistakes are not your identity. Your failures are not your identity. Your rejection is not your identity. These experiences are chapters, not the entire story. The person you become is determined not only by what happened to you, but by the meaning you choose to give those experiences. The power of imagination is the power to reshape your inner world. Before anything changes externally, a new version of you must exist internally. Every belief you accept, every assumption you repeat, and every image you hold about yourself contributes to the person you become. Stop allowing old memories to create the same old reality. Stop giving yesterday the authority to define tomorrow. Choose a new interpretation. Choose a stronger identity. Choose a story that reflects the person you are becoming. The past is not your prison. It is a collection of experiences waiting for new meaning. The same memories that once limited you can become the foundation of your strength. The same moments that once created fear can become reminders of your courage. Your future is not determined by everything that happened before. Your future is created by the person you choose to become now. The moment you change within, your entire experience begins to change. You are not trapped by what was. You are constantly creating who you become.